Okay, now what I'm going to do is show you some issues you will have when you're installing your new gauge, or even putting your old gauge back in. This has nothing to do with the gauge. The gauge is right in this area, and this is for the oil feed pipe. Now, the oil feed pipe, there is right here a leather washer. That's got to go there. That's your seal. This is the old one. And it's got that little pipe here. Inside of this is a little screen. Very little. Okay? So something got in there and stopped it up. Your gauge wouldn't work right. These here are both identical. Not a problem. So, here is the problem. All right, sorry about that. Catus interruptus. All right, so we've talked about that. There's a little screen. Now, what goes on here is you have these. This is the leather washer. All right? Now, what you can't see is that this right here is what you buy. You know, you get the leather washer from Moss. It's a leather washer, it says it. Leather washer, oil pressure gauge. Okay. Now, this right here, it's hard to tell, but see the opening in that? I made that opening because the replacements you're getting now have a little opening. The little opening here, it won't fit. It is too small. What it has to do is fit, come here, over that and not block it. See how that fits over it? And it's not going to block it. The new ones here, see the hole size is too small. You go to put it on, it won't go over. So what happens, and what happened to even Mike Bincoli, is in using this new replacement leather washer, he put it all together, and some of the leather got chunked off and into here against the screen and blocked it up, and his oil pressure gauge wasn't working right. It couldn't get the flow. So I gave him my last NOS correct size one, and decided we need to figure out how to fix this imperfection ourselves, because it's what we probably got to deal with. So here is what we did. All right, so now we have to take this little hole, and you can see that better here. That was one of the originals. This is the one that I made. Much bigger hole. I've tried several ways. Didn't work. This worked. So it's back to the old blowtorch. And hit the hole. And that being leather, see the bigger hole? Ta-da! You can't fray it up with trying to punch it. I tried to drill it, but this burning in works. again. All right, so now I have got this made to fit. So what you're going to do now is a little cup of oil, anything, 3-in-1, anything. You're going to drop it in there. This leather has to soak. I put this one in yesterday after fixing it. I'm going to drop that one in there, let it soak up some oil so it'd be ready. Then you can take the one that you burned, come over to here, and you will see that it fits. It actually will fit. So you won't stop that up. So that's what you're going to have to do to get that to fit, because you're never, ever, ever going to get that teeny little thing here on that opening. It has to be opened up. That'll fix the oil problem, and that had nothing to do with the gauge. We're still not positive on the gauge, we were positive on this. So you'll have to do that to get oil pressure. Now we'll move on to seeing what's wrong or what we need to do to make the temperature gauge work right. All right, now I'm going to show you the other thing we ran into. This is the original. This is the replacement. How this works is this right here is what goes in the block, screws in. Where it makes a seal is here on this taper. Not by the threads, but that taper right there. Okay? Problem we ran into was when we went to put that first gauge in, we couldn't get the bulb to go into the hole. And here was why, after we took it all out. You mic the first one here. This is the original. Okay? You see where it comes up to, 44. Okay? That's, get it in there. 43, 44. That's the size it has to be to fit the block, or the head, or the, the head. You mic the new one, and it's 49, almost 50. So what we have to do is we have to turn that down to the original, okay? Because that 6/1000ths will not let this bulb go inside of your head into the water jacket and make a seal. Not a big deal. Sandpaper. Put a little sandpaper on it. Brass. Work it around. Keep micing it and checking it till you get that good. Afterwards I hit it with some steel wool just to smooth it out. So that's that issue there. Then that will both be the exact same size and will go in and fit like it's supposed to and make a seal. All right, that's problem number one with that. All right, now problem number two. These threads here, they are 5/8 NF. It's not a Whitworth, it's a 5/8 NF. And this is what screws, if it had the thing on it, into your actual head. When we went to screw the first one of these we bought in, it wouldn't start. Why? Because the damn threads were garbage. So you're gonna have to check this with a chaser, 5/8 NF chaser thread. You can just put that on there and clean the threads up, because you don't want to get that far and then you can't get this to go in. See, it's hanging up right there. So you just got to clean that. Make sure it's got good threads, probably Chinese threads. So the first one, this one wasn't too bad, but the first one, it wouldn't go in at all. So those are the two problems, getting this to fit, to replace the original here that did fit. That's how to make that fit. Now that you got it fitting, you got a leather washer that'll fit that because you took the new ones and you made the hole bigger by burning it in. We're ready to find out, is this thing accurate? So we're gonna now move to some boiling water and see what we got. All right, now one of the most important steps. How accurate is that thing gonna be? Is it gonna tell us exactly what we got or not? So, got a hot pot of water on here. My candy thermometer is reading 140. Okay, move that out of a glare. It's still in a glare. Let's try my barometer. Barometer here says 138, 139. This is, actually it looks like it says 140, so they're off a teeny bit from each other. But we consider that's right. Now, let's just see by putting this in here. Set that down. It's like wrestling a snake. Let's drop it in here. So we're in the 140 degree water. Let's see what Mr. Temperature Gauge tells us. Well, kiss my grits. So far, so good. Now, the first gauge we put in, when I didn't do this, and car had some overheating issues and problems, so we weren't sure, but it looked like it was reading about 10 degrees off. This has moved up to that is at 150, so this is now up to 145. That says 150. That's 5 degrees off. Let's check it again with the laser light. Yeah. So 149, 148, 150, 51, 52. I could live with this gauge. I could live with 5. That is hitting at 155. So this gauge is going to be 5 degrees, reading 5 degrees hotter than your engine and water is really running. That's just 5. That's not bad. So, as far as I'm concerned, this one's going in to replace the first one we did. Well, I'll send that back and go and I'll take it out and I'm going to test it. I've already done all this other stuff to get it to fit, and now I have to check this out. Now, that's how I found these little washers, is when I was under the dash hooking up the oil pipe, I was telling Ben, I can't get this washer to go on. It won't go on. It should pop over that pipe. So got out, compared it to a couple of old original NOS ones that I had, put one of the NOS ones in, and hooked it up, and everything did fine on the oil pressure. And then talking with Mike Vincoli, he'd just done this, and his gauge was all messed up. So I gave him my other NOS and went, if this is what we got to deal with on the oil pipe, then we got to learn how to make a hole that's the right size. So this is starting to look really good here. Let's see. Get my light on it. Yeah, 150 to 53, 54. And it's just hitting 160. So 5 to 7 degrees. I would use that gauge, and I will. All right, so that's all I have with that. Got any questions? Hey, you know how to call me. Hope this helped, because it's a pain in the butt putting these in like you wouldn't believe at our age, and then having to take it all the way back out because it didn't work, because I've already had some rebuilt ones I put in, and guess what? Hooked it all up, and the gauge didn't even move at all, and I paid to rebuild that gauge to brand new. So now, sent another one off to be rebuilt, and so we got one person running around out there with 0 temperature. Don't know what it is, and it's 100 degrees outside. So I'd like to know what your engine's doing before that. So if you can't get your gauge rebuilt, then you can buy the MGB replacement one and do the things I said to do, and you will be okay. Yeah, that is right there at 5 degrees difference. 160. Yeah, because that candy thermometer is off a few degrees. So this is closer than the other one, but I'll be checking it too. And I hate you got to do this, but you don't want to have to put it in and take it out and put it in and take it out and put it in and take it out. Hope this helped. Talk to you later. It's Sunday. I'm staying in where it's not hot. Later, guys. Bye.